Welcome back to the channel, Retro Freaks. You know it's a special occasion when I bust out the Hasbro shirt and Robert busts out the WrestleFest jacket. I don't even know what all that means, but we don't do a lot of pickup videos, but we have been on a freaking heater. We just got back from the Midwest Gaming Classic, and we went a little cray-cray.
Yes.
Spreading the cheddar around, helping those vendors make a little living, give their kids a little num-nums. But we came home with a Sega CD and a whole slew of stuff, and we're here to talk about it. But before we do, jump into the comments section. Let us know, what are some of your favorite pickups that you have got in the last, I don't know, couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about it because it's so cool as gamers because you evolve. And, I feel like this year, especially, we've been diving into Sega super heavy.
Well, we've even had comments that said every video you guys do is about Sega. It's just Sega.
Well, it's because, dude, we've been doing a channel for almost 6 years now, and we haven't really covered that much Sega stuff, and now we're realizing, oh, Sega's badass. I mean, I always knew it was badass, but I'd never really played it. So now we're like, Saturn heavy, Sega CD heavy. Dude, it's super fun to be a gamer because there's so many different rabbit holes you can go down, and we have picked up a lot of really cool shit lately.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the board. We're even going to dive into a couple books that we have picked up, random stuff, but I already kind of peeled back the veil, if you will. So let's start with the Sega CD. Got a pretty good deal on a Sega CD, very mint condition at Midwest Gaming Classic. And I kind of decided I want to go down that rabbit hole for a couple of reasons. Where it all really started for me, and this is going to make you guys laugh, is Corpse Killer on the Sega Saturn, which we were playing and we were trying to figure out for light gun purposes and whatnot. It's not a light gun game, but it is on the Sega CD.
Yes.
Which creates a whole nother rabbit hole. This will all tie together at some point.
At some point, yeah.
But in this video, I promise, you'll see where this is all going. But I was like, I have to be able to play that game because it looks like a piece of dog shit, B grade, C grade horror type. I was like, I have to play the light.
And we've also heard that on the CD, there's also Mad Dog McCree, I think, and other B grade horror.
A lot of shit.
Yeah, I'm into that kind of bad, good stuff. And it's so wild because the day before we left, we were talking about, oh, what are we looking for at Midwest Gaming Classic? And not once did you say, I'm looking for a Sega CD.
Yeah.
Not once. And then the day of, you're like, I'm going to buy a Sega CD. That's wild. Yeah. You just decided all of a
sudden. We had Mr.
Yeah.
Sega himself with us, our good buddy Brian, and he was like, he's always trying. He was going to get a 32X, and he's like, hey, you need to get a Sega CD.
He did get a 32X, which is pretty badass.
He did, yeah.
But let's show off. So we got the Sega CD, which is badass, and then we got a handful of games, which is insane. We got
kind of split this down, split the
7
difference
games.
Here. Yeah. I don't like that they had a couple games that came out like this, but this is the first game Robert and I ever played together on the console. Soul Feces is what I call it. Soul Feces.
A great shooter.
I don't say Soul Feces because it's bad. I say it because it's funny. It's a pretty basic shooter. I'd say on the easy side.
I feel like it's kind of cool because back in that era, you got to imagine when it came out, it's kind of the 2.5. They're kind of pushing the 3D, but it's still linear. It's a really cool, and I love shmups, dude. Yeah. It's a really cool game. The one that at the top of my pile, this one's a banger, and this one's really cool. I love the art style. And what's super cool about the CD is I feel like they were able to add stuff like this, add comic book style,
there's
video.
Almost kind of I wouldn't say full length, that's a stretch, but there's longer cutscenes that are kind of cartoon.
It's like a cartoon TV show, and that's the Amazing Spider-Man. This game was a little pricey, but it looks amazing. And the Sega CD, I think it's known for its sound, and then the picture quality looks beautiful. Yeah. A lot of these, we just got these, so we dabbled with
Some of them haven't even been popped in yet, and that would fall for this one, Corpse Killer.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to play this.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to be bad. I've seen gameplay. I know it's going to be bad.
It says mature, realistic violence. Saddle up, folks. I can't wait.
It might become my favorite game.
I do know. Actually, you may see this before. You may see the stream before you see this. I think we're planning on doing just a random variety Sega CD live stream.
Which would be super fun.
We may pop that one.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Next up on my list, NHL 94.
I may correct you. It's NHL 90 porn.
90 porn, my bad. NHL 90 porn. It doesn't say that on this, but if you know, you know. NHL 94. This is arguably one of the best hockey games, not this version, but the year.
Yeah.
I've never played the Sega CD version, but I've heard good things.
Yeah. I wanted to check it out because I was getting peppered in the comments section because I only ever played NHL 94 on the Super Nintendo, and a lot of people are banging the drum for the Genesis one. I'm like, well, what's the difference? I didn't grab the Genesis one, which was on my pickup list for him to see.
Yeah,
but since I got this, I was like, you know what?
It's got to be better, I feel like.
I would think so.
I would think so.
but we'll find out. This was not at Midwest Gaming Classic, but I did order it after a lot of beers in the hotel room
in Milwaukee.
An influence next to me, my buddy Brian, like, just do it, dude. It's okay. You know? And anyway, the Terminator.
Oh, this is badass.
Is the game right now. There's actually two games from this franchise, ironically, that I am so into right now. This one, and there's another one. I don't want to give it away yet, but I'm so happy to get this. There was a few rippers that I wanted on the Sega CD, and there's really only one left for me for the type of stuff that I'm into. Guys, I'm not gonna get Snatcher, not for that price. I maybe do a repro or something like that.
I'm curious about the game. Because it's Hideo Kojima, I'm curious about it.
But the only other ripper I wanna get, which tells you it's not in this pickups video, is the Final Fight
CD.
Final Fight CD.
Which is badass because that's the only Final Fight version that has 2-player.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
On the home console.
Yeah, on home console.
So, the Terminator. Yep, minty copy. Foam still inside. Really happy about it.
So beautiful. I'm super excited to play this. I haven't played it yet. We just haven't had time. And that's the Sega CD version, Star Wars Rebel Assault. I don't know anything about this, but back in the day, I loved Star Wars, and I love the games that came out in this era for Star Wars games. Why did you pick this one up? You just saw it? Or?
Well, I seen it. I thought it looked pretty cool on the back. You know, it's got that first kind of swag, if you will, at 3D shooters.
Kind of pushing it.
Which I kind of... I have a sweet spot, or a soft spot in my heart for those games. Like, I'm a big Star Fox guy, man. When that game came out on Super Nintendo and then the 64 version blew my mind. It's really weird for me now because the controls are
inverted,
or not. And
pilot controls.
Yeah. And I when I was a kid, I figured it out. But now after playing so many third-person shooters, first-person shooters, and other different things, it's hard. It's kind of goofy. I'm a big Jurassic Park fan. This game was dirt freaking cheap, so I got it. It's just a point-and-click adventure. I'm guessing it's dog shit, but I'll promise you this: because it's Jurassic Park, I'm gonna have some fun with it, and we're gonna see what happens.
I will say it's got to be better than the Sega Saturn version of Jurassic Park. I think it's Jurassic Park 2 where he plays the baby dinosaur. That game sucks.
Yeah, well,
me and Brian played that at Midwest Gaming Classic because we have it on the Sega Saturn. Dude, that game. Why would you want to play as a baby dinosaur? That's stupid. Well, so I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. So all of that kind of parlayed itself into picking up kind of a myriad of things. Got Menacer. For Corpse Killer. So got the Menacer. I do have the Beanox for it. I just don't have them on there. Everything is good. Been tested. Been working. I am missing the battery compartment cover. If anybody happens to have an extra one laying around, nobody does. But I'd buy it off you. So what I had to do is I had to jimmy rig a wad of aluminum foil.
He's aluminum foil put in it.
So it could be a conduit, you know.
You're smart, dude. Yeah. You're smart for doing that.
Well, I know my way
I walked in a few days ago and he had that and I was like, what the hell is that? First I thought it was the Super Scope.
Yeah.
But no, I've never seen that before in person, ever.
So she's working like a champ.
But
the guy I got it from had the 6 game cart. I haven't even played this yet. We're excited to jump into that.
I love Lycan games and we've been diving into Lycan games lately.
The manual, so that's all cool. And then at Midwest Gaming Classic for $20, picked up the T2, Terminator 2, the arcade game, which works with the Menacer, and it works extremely well. There are not many applications for the Menacer.
No, there's not.
On the Genesis, if you have the Sega CD combined, it gets a little more fruitful.
It does, but still not.
This is fun as hell with that controller.
It's so fun. I will say the game is hard, and there are parts where you're like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
We've been playing this a ton. Still new to it, but so badass. Now moving on to more Sega stuff. We picked up 2 Dreamcast games. These are both the Japanese editions because they're way cheaper, and I'll get into that later, but we picked up Confidential Porn and House of the Porn. I meant Confidential Mission and House of the Dead 2. These are both Japanese, but they're lighting games, so the story doesn't matter. And you're like, oh, how are you going to play it on your Dreamcast? Well, we also picked up a Japanese Dreamcast, because after we did our Dreamcast light gun buying guide, people were like, dude, get a Japanese gun, get a Japanese Dreamcast, it's going to work a lot better. So we ordered, we don't have the gun yet, but we ordered.
Yeah, the guns are coming. We have 2 guns coming. Literally just got a comment from a guy today that said, you know, I don't know because he watched our Xbox light gun buying guide. He's like, now you can play House of the Dead 2 and it works pretty well. But he said with the Japanese gun, he didn't even have to calibrate, and it was a perfect experience on the Japanese.
I mean, that's how the Saturn was. So
yeah.
I'm excited because the Dreamcast was really iffy when we were diving into it. So.
All right, moving right along. Couple other things we poked at Midwest Gaming Classic. Captain America and the Avengers.
Ooh.
Great co-op game. I never even cared to play this game because I rented this game on Super Nintendo when I was a little kid.
And that version sucks.
And I thought it was not very good. At the time, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was very good. And then I got all my Sega friends saying, oh shit, on the Saturn.
It's way better.
On the Genesis, it's so much better. I'm going to find out. But I'm excited to find out. And then Sylphied. There is a Sega CD game, yes, but it's different than this one. So far, I don't know what we're getting into. This is a Working Designs game. It's on the PlayStation 2. We played it, I don't know, what'd you say, Robert, for like 45 minutes probably?
Yep.
Really cool game.
Dude,
like really cool.
Super cool. I
don't know why we don't hear about this when people talk about shooters on the PS2.
Dude, I don't know. It reminded me a lot of Gradius 5 a little bit. Mm. There are parts where it's like it's melodic and slow, but then it picks up and becomes a bullet hell. Yeah. This game is beautiful because it's Working Designs, and I think it's also there's another developer on this that's also Treasure.
Yeah.
Both these people came together, made this game. It's phenomenal. And what I really like about this game is you're a spaceship, and in between levels you can change what your left and right gun is or upgrade them. So you don't necessarily have to have the same shot on both sides.
Yeah.
You can change it up, and that's so unique and so cool.
It is.
Working Designs likes to take a genre and make it their own.
Well, what's unique about this game is I felt like this was more of a traditional shooter, where the one on Sega CD, if I remember right, I'm going off memory here at a LAN party after a few drinks, but I remember the Sega CD one I felt like was one of those first pokes at like a 3D.
Yeah, they tried doing like the.
And then there is a Sylphied, I can't remember the name, but there's a Sylphied game on the Xbox 360, but it's back to being a three-dimensional shooter.
Oh wow! So this one's weird.
Yeah. So
okay.
I don't know. I think this may be the crown jewel in the set from what I've seen so far.
Dude, I'm loving it. I love shmups. Next up is a TV series that
it's a gaming channel, dude. We can't be talking about that shit.
But you ordered this again at Midwest Gaming Classic after a couple beers.
Yeah, well, because Dan started talking about his buddy finding a VHS tape of this, and here we are.
We picked up Freddy's Nightmares, the complete series, which is a 2-season TV show based on Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger. We have it on in the background. We've been watching it here and there. It's very Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone-esque, but also take that, mix it with a soap opera, and also take that and down it.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't give it too much. We're not hyping this up so far. We'll get back to you on this. It feels very, very campy. If you like B-grade horror stuff, this will be right up your alley. I think I got this sealed for like $50.
What's wild is I had never heard of this, and neither have you, and you were a big fan of Freddy.
Yeah. So I think, is it Robert England, whatever the hell his name is? He's in a fistful of these episodes. Some of them he's not, but he's a part of the intro in most of the episodes.
What's wild is like
the menus, though. God, whoever put this together,
dude, it's
rough.
It
works.
It's rough, and it's there's funny moments, and they're not supposed to be funny moments.
But I think tracking down all the individual VHS tapes to complete this series, if you find them, good for you. Yeah, I'd sell them and just grab that. Real quick.
It's if you're into bad stuff, you might like it. We got a few more things to talk about. We got some books, but before we jump into the books, I do want to talk about some accessories that we got.
Yeah.
So we just picked up this bad boy.
The Eagle.
The Eagle. This is for the PlayStation 3 Move light gun games, which is badass.
Is it the Eagle 3?
The Eagle 3.
Yeah.
We haven't tested it yet, but it feels chunky. It feels great, and you got this for way cheaper. And the guns that we normally have, those are super hard and super expensive to find, so this might be a better option if you're jumping into PS3 light guns.
Yeah, I found this randomly laying on a thrift store shelf, but for whatever reason, they had like $6 on them.
That's awesome.
That seemed a little high at the time. But our PS3 light gun buying guide, we did that video, and we didn't know what we didn't know. We talked about the Nyko Perfect Shot on the PS3,
which is an amazing gun.
We were just chilling in the game room. I remember it to this day, and our buddy Ryan came over and just brought us 2 of those guns and said, hey, it's my gift to the channel. And they were CIB, and he bought them at a local game store. And I think the price on each of them was like $20, $19.99.
That's insane. Those guns are going for so much more, and they're hard to find.
There's none listed, dude.
Dude, they're hard to find.
It's almost like they don't exist. It's almost like we made a video on something that doesn't exist.
It's wild. We still get comments to this day, and we did that video years ago, where it's like, I can't find the gun.
Yeah.
It's like, that sucks because back in the we had no idea.
It's hard to even find pictures of the fucking thing.
Yeah,
but they're real.
We have them. So this is another option if you're into that.
Well, we haven't tested it, so we'll talk about it maybe in a future video. We'll do a live stream.
But it feels great.
I would like to do a live stream where we beat like all 4 House of the Deads like in one go. That'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be hard.
It'd be hard.
That'd be really hard, but that'd be really fun.
I think we could do it. But we'll put this through its paces from a feel and the ergonomics of it and the way the clamp works for the deal. I think it's a pretty solid option.
And I do like that there is an opening in the back so you can have the extension.
Yeah, so you could maybe even use that on Killzone or something.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. Now moving on to some books. So this...
What is going on around
here?
Dude. We're a gaming channel.
We like everything. But we picked up Scud, the Disposable Assassin, the whole shebang, which is the complete graphic novel, which includes everything. I'm pretty sure it includes the last issues that were released years later.
Yes.
This has everything.
I will be your bud.
So, if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you know we've been obsessed with Scud.
Yep.
We know Death ran it. We were the first on YouTube. Now there's 2 on YouTube.
Nightcaps and Nostalgia.
Yep.
Cheers to Nathan Harsh.
Yeah, he got it done.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I haven't read this yet, but I'm so excited to dive into it because I'm obsessed with Scud. Rob Schraub, and I love the artwork. It's black and white. Dude, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great piece. I'm really excited to dig into it. While we were at Midwest Gaming Classic, a really surreal moment. I think it was because of the people we were with. Yep. You know, we were with Megadane29, Brian, good friend of the channel, yourself. We ran into Linda.
Yep.
We ran into Freak of 4. And then our buddy Cobra from the channel was with us too. It was just really unique to walk into this world of Nintendo display, which I've been to a lot of conventions. As an NES kid, the coolest thing I've ever seen at the convention.
Yep.
It was like literally walking into a smaller toy store in 1990.
Dude,
is what it felt like.
It was
91.
It was surreal. Everything was in pristine condition. There were displays. There was memorabilia. Everything was beautiful. And what's wild is I have no nostalgia for that kind of stuff because I was born in '94, so I missed that whole era of like walking to toy stores and seeing NES, Super Nintendo stuff. Mm-hmm. But for someone of you're like, oh, I remember seeing this when I was a kid. That's got to be so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool for you to see it because I knew you weren't alive. It was cool to be there with my good friend, your good friend Brian, who I knew was alive. Then Cobra's older than us.
Yep, Cobra was really digging it.
And then being with Dan, I mean, the NES, he is like Mr. NES to me. That's how I view him, dude. And it was awesome to see him take down Mr. Dream. And then No Death ran Contra, both in front of a crowd of people.
So badass.
It's just surreal on the display. And we'll throw up some footage right now of that going down, which is really cool. I know Freak of 4 got some really good footage of that stuff, too. Short story long, as I'm gushing over how awesome that moment was.
It was incredible. It was one of the highlights of the weekend.
The guy that runs that display, Andy Cunningham, has a book. I can't recommend this enough. The book's $50 on his website. We'll put information in the description below. There are no kickbacks. Nope. He had no idea when he talked to me that we're a channel. He had no idea that any of us were a channel. This is not any sort of nefarious YouTube bullshit. This book, if you're an NES fan, is so fucking rad.
It's so cool, dude.
We will get B-roll of the pages, but guys, it just goes through all the different advertising and displays in the stores.
There's photographs from stores.
Just real pictures and
it's beautiful.
Such a cool history. And I have the NES Guide and SNES Guide from Pat Contry, which are great books. I'm not trying to dunk on anything. I'm just saying, I don't think there's a retro gaming book that like brought me back to my childhood nostalgia like this.
Because the photos, I think, really brought you back to like, stores.
Yes.
And it was really cool because after you bought the book, we were in the hotel room and there was a bunch of us just around, and Megan was there, and we were all flipping through it, and it was so cool going through the book together. Mm-hmm. So we would like pause on a page and just discuss.
Yeah.
And that was so, dude, that was
Who's
so
seen
fun.
it? Who hasn't seen it?
Yeah, and then we learned that like, oh, in order to get these displays, stores had to sell a certain amount of Nintendo products to get points in order to get like, it was wild. Also, there was a Nintendo Globe that was it was awesome. Yeah. It was such a massive highlight of the weekend.
Very surreal.
It's such a cool book. I'm glad we have it in the collection. I do have one more thing I want to talk about. This is the 8-bit Do Xbox controller, but the D-pad is highlighted, so it's the main thing. And we picked up 2 of these. It looks like it's wireless, but it's not.
Why did we need to pick up 2? That makes no sense.
Well,
we already have Xbox One and Xbox Series controllers. Why do we need the D-pad?
So we picked this controller up for 1 game, and it's Contra Operation Galuga.
How you doing?
Because we like playing the D-pad on Contra.
I'm not playing Contra with a joystick.
And also, like, in that version of Contra, you can do the 360 display or change it to the D-pad axis.
The 8 directional.
8 directional. Yeah. So we changed to 8 directional and we played with the D-pad. Dude, it feels like authentic Contra. And this is how we beat and played. Played and beat, vice versa. Contra Operation Galuga. This controller's badass. I love that it's D-pad central, but there's also the joysticks if you want to use it.
For real.
So cool.
Well, yeah, it can be used. I think this is a really cool controller because I don't like joysticks either for shooters.
Yeah.
I just don't.
They don't. It's not as precise.
Not two-dimensional ones.
It's not as precise. Yeah.
And I don't know why. Just the old school in me. So there are plenty of applications and fighting games. I don't like a joystick. I like, if I'm forward.
Are you?
What
do you know about fighting games?
I know a little bit. Yeah. So.
Freaking
this
badass.
Controller's badass. Yeah.
We also got, I'm saying Wes got a couple Hasbro wrestlers recently, which are pretty badass.
Yeah. So there was a drop off. I got a picture and then I got there many days later. That's how I roll. I kind of fly. I'm a fly by the seat of my ass type of guy. And our buddy Brian sent me a post that they had a whole collection turned into Hasbro figures. Which honestly, when somebody tells me that, it doesn't mean a lot to me anymore because there's not much that I need.
Because your Hasbro collection is basically almost done.
And the things I need are the stupid things. It's 1, 2, 3 Kid, Atom Bomb. Just dumbass prices.
And are you going for it complete?
If I can ever
get it for cheap.
If I can get a good deal, and I'm not saying super cheap, if I get it reasonable, when I think reasonable, I would buy some guy's entire collection just to pull 3 figures out of it, and if I could flip it all to get me back to having to only pay a couple $100.
For a couple figures this big.
Yeah. I would do something like that because I would love to.
Yeah.
But I picked up Owen Hart when he went by as the Rocket, kind of in that Coco Beware.
Really
he
cool.
actually matches the Jim the Anvil Neidhart attire in the Hasbro series.
That's pretty cool.
Because they were a tag team for a little bit too.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Got good old Kamala, not the rare Kamala. Just got the good old belly slapping. I don't know how to pin anybody, Kamala. I just roll them over and then I look at the crowd and say,
Dude, that also ties back to me and Classic. We were watching Raw.
Yeah.
And he wrestled and couldn't pin him.
Yeah.
Dude, what kind of gimmick is that?
Dude, I was trying to figure that out a long time ago because I knew I didn't make it up and it's legit. So I'm glad you guys seen it. And then I picked up one of Robert's favorite wrestlers, Skinner. And if you've ever wanted to chew tobacco, watch some Skinner matches and it'll push you over the line.
I am so excited that you got Skinner as a Hasbro wrestler. It's so badass. And I love, we have it displayed so when you walk in the room, it's one of the first things you see.
Yeah.
If you look over there.
Is he the worst wrestler to ever get a Hasbro? That would be a really good comment to leave. Who's the worst wrestler to ever get a Hasbro? Ludwig Borga?
I think he's in the discussion. I don't think he is the worst.
Okay.
I think there is worse.
Virgil?
But I will say.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah, too soon. Virgil's great. I like Virgil.
Yeah.
He's a good wrestler. Skinner's not. But I love Skinner. I will say Skinner's Hasbro figure looks better than he does in real life.
Oh, for sure. Dude, he looks clean cut, dude.
He looks like, that's a professional wrestler. You see Skinner, you're like, that guy's homeless. Like dude, it's... But that's why I love Skinner. Skinner doesn't give a fuck. I wonder what Skinner's up to nowadays in 2024.
I don't know. Chewing.
You think he's still alive?
Oh, easily.
Easily?
Yeah, he's preserved. Yeah. He's preserved.
And then also, speaking of wrestling, that's why we're both wearing our wrestling shirts and jackets. Wes has been collecting the WWF Superstars. Yeah. We showcased that in our game room tour, but you picked up a ton more since. We basically have a full run now, going from the beam to the TV. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, that whole thing is a pain in the ass. They're really cool. Yeah, I like them a lot. I really do. But they're so hard to find, and when Mattel announces the release date of stuff, I mean, no joke, at least in Des Moines, I'm seeing 2-year lead times between when they say they're coming out and when they show up on store shelves. And then guys are on eBay jacking up the prices.
I think it's because like they'll send it out to Walmart. It's Walmart exclusive, right?
Yep.
So I think they send it out to Walmart, and Walmart doesn't stock the shelves until it's empty.
Well,
so like a lot of figures will stay on the shelves for a while.
But what's
like
weird? What's weird
like
is I've seen some weird things happen. So like, you know, I popped in and I grabbed Doink and Lou Albano. Then the next like 3 or 4 weeks when I dip in there, it was back to old stock.
Oh, so weird.
Like whatever it's like they got one case and put that out,
and then
it was all back.
But they had old shit.
I don't know.
It's really weird.
It's a really tough thing to collect. I'm just going at my own pace. I'm not going for a complete set. There's a couple modern-ish people that I don't want. I just want the people that I feel like deserve to be in the series.
I mean,
and that's my own. Yeah.
I mean, there's a few that you have up there where I'm like, I don't know if he deserves.
Like who?
I mean, I can't see it from that far, but
Earthquake, Typhoon, Mr. Perfect, Vader.
I mean, you're saying good ones.
Lou Albano.
Yeah. Why you get him?
Well, we got Hogan, Kane, Andre.
Yeah.
Doink.
Pretty bad.
Doink.
I don't like Doink.
I don't love him, but I have his Hasbro.
But he's a good wrestler.
I have his Hasbro.
But I
his
do
middle
love.
fingers are missing, so he's going like this.
But I do love how, especially from my perspective, we'll get B-roll. It fills the wall now.
Yeah.
So if you get any more, I don't know where you're gonna put them because you have the complete line.
Decide who I don't want.
But that's our pickups as of late. Obviously, we haven't done a pickups video in a long time, so we picked up things here and there that we haven't talked about.
But these are the heavies.
These are the heavies, and these are the things that we've gotten within the last, I don't know, couple months.
Yeah, most of it's in the last month.
Most of it's pretty new, and most of it we haven't even touched yet.
Yeah, which is exciting.
Super excited.
Tons of stuff to play. And looking forward, I cannot wait. And again, by the time you guys see this, it's probably already happened. But I'm looking so forward to just letting the camera roll and doing a Sega CD variety live stream.
Yeah, because
I don't even know what's gonna happen.
I don't know what's gonna happen either.
Yeah. Well, let the credits roll. Let the credits roll. Oh,
dude. Fuck yeah.
Let's go.
We beat it. Yes.
We got some beer to talk about.
Yeah, we got to talk
from
about
our
this.
buddy Kyle, my favorite Martin.
You said that twice.
Let's go.
We're drinking the Style and Grace. This is a Imperial New England style IPA by ElevenThree, which is a brewery from Ohio. This is a quote from a Notorious B.I.G. song.
Or a lyric?
A lyric, yeah. I didn't quite understand it at first, but Kyle told me about that. And what's cool is the can art is different.
Yeah.
So you got the Crown can art, and I got like the grape soda, cheese, egg, steak can art.
I'm guessing he was a big boy.
I'm guessing that's his favorite things.
Maybe that's what he liked to munch on.
I understand the Crown.
Maybe that's how he padded the landing. I don't know.
But this beer is really freaking good. Comes in 8%. Mm-hmm. It's really smooth, really hazy. It's really good.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic beer. Just because of the time of the season, I'm kind of in an IPA mood.
Well, it's getting nice out, so I'm ready for IPAs.
Yeah, I love it, dude. It's just great. I don't know a ton about this brewery. We've only had 2 beers from them, but I am loving what they're doing.
Yeah, their IPA taste is it's smooth. It's easy drinking, but it's still delicious. It's thick. It's not aggressive. So if you don't like IPAs, you don't have to worry about that hop aggressiveness. I'm everything that I've had. I mean, I've only had 2, but these are home runs.
I need to jump on their website to see if because I think
they're a smaller brewery.
Are they a variety brewery or do they only like Topple and Goliath? I would say for the most part, people may disagree, but I'd say mostly they're an IPA brewery.
They're an IPA brewery.
They do have a few sours.
They have heavy stouts though.
Yeah, and they have some stouts, but for the most part, I feel like that's their deal. And then, there's like your tree houses of the world, things like that, where they kill it on the IPA train.
Or Barntown, sours.
They're a sour brewery.
Yeah.
So
they do a lot of other things.
Are these guys just an IPA brewery?
I mean,
if they are, that's great.
Yeah, their IPAs are great.
Sometimes you stick to what you know, unless you're a dumbass channel like us, and you talk about everything. And you even talk about books.
That's what hurts.
Blu-rays. Beer. What?
Sega CD.
Yeah. What? But anyway, awesome beer. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate you sending it over. Highly recommend. If anybody's ever in the area, what'd you say? It's
Ohio.
ElevenThree.
ElevenThree. Yep.
Yeah. Check them out because they're 2 for 2 in our book.
Yep. 2 for 2, and that's all we got for
them. Well, in the comment section below, let us know your recent pickups, and I think we're gonna put a wrap on this thing.
Yep. We're gonna play all these.
Yeah, we got to get to some stuff. We got to get to some Sega CD, some Corpse Killer. We always appreciate you tuning in, subscribing to the channel. We'll see you on the next episode of the one and only Gaming Off the Grid.